I just had the most delusional phone call, and I need to talk to somebody about it because we were talking about merchandise and how much you pay people for merch, how much you pay photographers, and how much you pay people that work for you. And this person thinks that we live in like 1945. It was an old professor of mine in my master's program, and they just reached out, hey, how you doing? They saw my Aspen shows, and they said, your prices are kind of high for your staffing. I'm like, well, what do you mean? And she's like, well, usually, like she used to put on events, she had like a staffing company, and she's like, we would pay, okay, $25. I'm like, oh, $25 an hour for a merch person? No, $25, no tips, no percentages, and no dinners. And I'm like, how recent is that? Oh, we haven't been able to get anybody in the last few years. And I'm like, well, I wonder why. Then she's like, you're paying the photographer too much money. And I'm like, we're paying them $500 a night, $1,000 total, plus dinner. Also for the merch people, they're getting $200 total for a few hours, plus dinner and a percentage, which I think is pretty good. Usually you pay anywhere between $125 and $150 total, and it's about, like I said, it's about 4 total hours, 7 hours, they get 2 hours break. Anyway, just crazy. Going back to the photographer, I'm just like, I just can't believe it. The photographer, I said, well, when I was being a tour photographer, I would get anywhere between $250 and $500, and I had to shoot everything, and I had to do raw edits and stuff like that. And I said, no, we're just having them do basic, behind the scene, take a few photos, because we're having everything filmed. This is not intensive at all. And I think $500 is really good per show, $1,000. And like, no, we only give people $75. And I'm like, what about editing? What about this? No, they give us everything included. I'm like, $75? How long do you work them? Oh, minimum 12 hours. And I'm like, okay. And I said, well, what about people that work for you? We're paying anywhere between like $250 and $400, depending on their experience. And it is Aspen, it's more expensive. And she's like, no. We pay $10 an hour. I'm like, is that even the minimum wage? And she's like, no, but it's okay. You get paid under the table. And I'm like, no, it's not okay. Even like production, we're paying $400 for 6 to 7 hours for one show per day, $800 total. And she thought I was like crazy. And I said, well, usually we bring people out. And I said, okay, you know how expensive that is? And she's like, well, it's usually more than what we pay them. And I'm like, how did that not make sense? Like, it was just blowing my mind. She was bringing people from out of state to work for $10 an hour, or $25, total, or $75 total. And I'm like, are you paying for anything else? No, everything's under the table cash. And I'm like, are there really that many bad people that don't value people? I don't know. We're all, like I said, staffing application for our shows. We're giving dinner, we're giving percentages, we're giving really good amounts to people who want to work for our show and really help others. But some people out there need to get with the times.